Hey guys, this is Brad from the Wealth Motivation Channel, and guess what? Yes, beer in my kitchen, because the light in my living room went out and I don't have any light bulbs. So, we're doing it in the kitchen. Anyway, main topic for today is, well, choosing a spouse. Hell, I'm still working on that process. Pretty sure making $1 billion is easier than choosing a freaking spouse. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, main point, ladies and gentlemen. So, me and a buddy, we were sitting around talking, and a guy that was also there brought up a very good point. He's like, you guys have all these valuable goals and everything. You want to acquire all these assets, these businesses, and so on. And, well, there's like, how do you choose a spouse? I mean, with how divorces and everything are nowadays, he's just like, that's a big risk. And me and my friend kind of sat there and thought for a second. We're just like, okay, that's very true. But we kind of bounced around that question, looked at it from many different angles, and we kind of came down to this. One of the biggest reasons why marriages fail is because literally they don't know each other before they get married. They straight up just don't know each other. We see these people, they date for, 6-8 months, and all of a sudden, hey, we're engaged, we're getting married in the next 9 months. You people are stupid. I mean, that's just retarded. And I've met people, I held my tongue. I didn't say anything about their marriages and whatnot, even though one friend, I should have just ended his engagement. He became, I want to say, groomzilla. He started trying to give everyone relationship advice and all this other bullshit because he was engaged. He was going to get married, so he was clearly knew everything. And me knowing people and knowing people very intimately, per se, I get to know what they've done, what their disappointments are in life. I mean, I don't just know people on the surface. I know them pretty well. And this friend, I've known him for years. And me, I'm kind of a dick, and I'm being myself. And he's like randomly, just in the middle, he's like, Brad, got something to tell you. If you weren't such an asshole, maybe you would have somebody. And I'm just like, really? You want to play this game? I literally have a royal flush in my hands to end your engagement, and you're literally picking on the person who has that royal flush. The person who knows you very well and knows everything that you've done in the last 6 months, all the things that you've lied to your girlfriend about. I mean, the list goes on. And yet you're going to sit there and criticize the person who has had your back no matter what. And then just because you get a fiance, you're all high and mighty now. You're like, I know everything. It drove me nuts. I should have ended his engagement. But I didn't. Because here's the other thing I know. When I get to know people, I get to know them very well. And she was a raging bitch. So, guess what? I knew he was going to be in hell anyway. So, I got the last laugh on that one. Anyway, main point. Sorry, went off on a kind of a tangent there. I have lots of different things. Lots of examples, per se, of marriages that have gone south. Like, I know from the time I was in college, several friends got engaged and married, and then a lot of them got divorced shortly after. Like, there's one couple, they were married for like a year, and in college, everyone knew that she was notorious for cheating on boyfriends. I mean, notorious. Like, if there was a wanted poster for girls who cheat, she would be the first one on that freaking poster. Anyway, I digress. This idiot, knowing all this, knowing that she was notorious for cheating, and I'm not saying that people can't change, but when you're notorious for it, like that's what you're known for, to me, that's a big red flag. And it wasn't just like, oh, I did it with one boyfriend. It was like, I did it with number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's just like, really? And you're willingly going down the aisle to marry this woman. You're a fucking idiot. So, we have all these marriage examples where either the people didn't know enough about each other, or they just weren't listening and using the information given to them, because you got to use both. And I was very selective on the girls I dated in college, and that still even bit me. Like, one girl I tried dating, she was, I refer to girls like this as demon-possessed Care Bears, because they look really nice and sweet on the outside, you know. They look like they could never hurt a fly. But on the inside, they're the most heartless bitches you've ever met in your life. So we broke up over the summer, and the biggest problem that I had was she was completely dishonest with me. Like, you can salvage something with me if you're honest. Like, you admit you fuck up. But if you try and cover it up and be like, oh, it's not my fault, just try and cast blame on the other person, that's when you start digging a hole with me. And then she came back for the fall, and she saw me, and she awkwardly like, hey, Brad, tried to give me a hug and shit. And I'm just like, get away from me. I mean, like, legitimately, she burned such a bridge with me. It took about 2 years before I could even really be in the same room with her. But anyway, and that was one of my mistakes, but I learned from my mistake and went on from there. And so the biggest thing that you need to be looking at is, you know, talk to people that know that person that you're interested in. Talk to her friends. I mean, don't be like, hey, is she a whore? You know, but don't be doing that. Just be like, hey, I'm kind of interested in so-and-so. Can you give me any information? What kind of person is she or he or whatever you're into? So, I mean, there's so many different routes that you could go. And then if you're hearing a bunch of negative stuff, start going more inward into her circle and figure out, like, talk to her best friends and so on. And then finally, when you have enough information, be like, hey, so I know we're thinking about dating, or, you know, even if you were dating that person, be like, hey, these are some concerns and red flags, and we need to talk. And if that person is showing progress and showing improvement and showing that they're going to be a reliable person in the end, then give them a chance. Like, they've learned from their mistakes. But if they keep making the same mistake over and over and over again, and it's just like, good Lord, that's when you just send them out to sea and let them succumb to their own demise. But then, as you move on in life, you know, after you go through college and everything, you start getting into the more mature dating world. And when I got out of college, I got even pickier about who I dated. And I actually started looking for women that were way older than me, you know, trying to find one that had her head out of her backside. And I mean, that one was interesting. I have no qualms. I have nothing bad to say about her. The only issues I ever had was I felt like I could never do anything for her because she was a very strong, independent woman. So, like, I could never, bring her flowers. I could never, it felt like I could never do anything for her. I couldn't bring her coffee. I couldn't give her, back rubs, whatever. Like, she was such a strong, independent woman that she just didn't want help. And that was the more aggravating part for me because I like doing stuff for people. That's how I show I care. Like, if I don't do anything for you, I don't give two fucks about you. Like, if I'm not willing to lift a finger for you, then I don't like you. I don't care about you. Yeah. But if I'm willing to go forth and, be like, hey, I'll go grab you dinner because I know you've had a long day, this, that, the other thing. It's all of that. And so, yeah. And so now, since I've had, my fair share of experience in the dating world, I've pretty much nailed down what kind of woman I'm looking for. She's got to be driven. She's got to be motivated. She's got to, like, I understand being frustrated when, your plans are taking a little bit longer. But if you're just going to sit there, bitch, piss, and moan about, why the world is unfair, I really just don't want to be around you. Like, my goals are too high to sit here and waste time listening to you bitch and moan. And, I mean, I'm not trying to be heartless or anything, but it's just like, hey, don't complain. Fix the situation. Like, I understand you need to vent sometimes, but when you're done venting, fix the situation. So, for me, it's more of just like, I need a driven woman. I need one that cares about her health. I need a woman that wants to exercise. I need a woman who is okay with me in my hunting addiction, basically, because I'm a diehard hunter. I love bow hunting. I love whitetail hunting. I love elk hunting. I want to do the North American Slam with my bow. I mean, and then the other thing that me and my buddy kind of discussed is like, well, what if your goals don't match up? And it's like, well, it depends on what your goals are. Like, hey, I want to be, financially free versus I want to be uber wealthy. Yeah, those are going to be very conflicting. Like, one's down here, one's up here. But as far as like, hey, I want 2 kids, she wants 3. There's a compromise. Have a midget. So you get 2.5. I'm going to hell for that joke. Anyway. So, there's that. And so, like, obviously, not every single one of your goals is going to line up. It's the truth. I mean, not everyone's wired the same. But you got to have a healthy respect for your partner's goals. And obviously, like, one's goals are going to be more than the other. But, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm willing to date and possibly in the future marry a doctor, a lawyer, accountant, whatever. But I just need to know that that person's driven and that they have my back, and vice versa. So, like, I'm on a mission to help myself, to help my family, to help others. I'm on a mission, and I need somebody to help me with my mission, and I'm going to help them with their mission. It's a two-way street. You have a mission, they have a mission. You got to be in sync. So, anyway. So, for the main takeaway from this, get to know your partner. Talk to them, talk to their friends. Don't just date for a very short period of time, and because you're fucking lonely, put a ring on it, and then you're going to end up in an expensive-ass divorce, which if you're successful even a little bit in the beginning, there goes half your shit, unless you can, find ill practice or, not being faithful or whatever the hell you want to call it. So, I mean, there's so many different things that you could do. So, yeah, get to know your spouse, figure out what their goals are. Do your goals line up? And I mean, you can love a person to death, but if your goals don't line up, your lives aren't going to match up, and that's just going to make you both miserable in the end. And so you may have to pass on an amazing woman or an amazing man just because, your goals just don't line up. And I mean, it sucks. Trust me. I know. It really does suck. But, for the ultimate happiness of you both, it's probably just better you don't part ways. And then when you get into that woman and that man that you feel that you want to spend the rest of your life with, sit down and talk. Openly communicate what your goals are and what you want out of life. And then be like, okay, these are your goals, these are my goals, they match up, let's proceed. And I mean, people are going to be like, oh, you're making it sound like a business deal. And it's like, marriage is a fucking business deal. Because if you marry the wrong person, your life's going to be miserable. It's kind of the same with a business partner. If you get the wrong business partner, your life is going to be miserable. So the two kind of go hand in hand. But anyway, there's probably going to be another part to this video where I go and dissect this a little bit more instead of just a big broad overview. I'll dissect the different parts and list off different qualities you're probably going to want to see depending on how wealthy, how well off, what your goals are. I mean, there's so many different ways to look at this. So, like I say, this is the Wealth Motivation Channel. I believe in you. Your spouse believes in you. Your potential spouse believes in you, even though you haven't possibly met her yet or him. And you just keep trudging forward. So, anyway, God bless, and I hope that you're having a great day.